Here come the boys. Y'all ready to go swimming, baby? Come on. Give it up. Get out of that water. I tried telling y'all, it's swim lessons, baby.
Welcome back to Swim Lessons, the podcast. I'm your host, Dallas Hanson. Thank you for joining us today, wherever, however. I appreciate you tuning in. And today's guest is Issac Sondrol. Isaac and I became friends a few years ago. He's the head boys basketball coach for Velva High School. He's a big fan of sports, and I appreciate Isaac because during the interview, during the podcast, it got a little emotional, but we talked about a lot of things in life that we have in common, and he's just a great dude. And I wish him the best of luck in the upcoming season with his Velva Aggies, but it wasn't just about basketball. It's about life and everything that goes along with it. And before we get to Isaac, though, we got to talk about the amazing and wise PSP Network. It's game day, promoting local student athletes for a very long time. PSP's coming into basketball season, hockey season. It's time to tune in, everybody. It's time to lock in. We've got a lot of great athletes, a lot of great teams in the state of North Dakota right now. So check out PSP on their YouTube page at PSP Network, or go to their website. That's where I go for all their schedules. It's psp.network. Nick Holberg is at the helm, and he's doing a lot of different things with a lot of great people. So make sure you check out PSP Network. Next up is River's Edge Bar and Grill. They are known for offering the best happy hour in town, providing unbeatable deals and a lively atmosphere. Guests can also enjoy a variety of entertaining activities, including bingo, trivia, and the very popular Name That Tune. Come down to River's Edge for great drinks, great food, and great fun. And River's Edge, located in Williston, North Dakota. If you're ever in Williston, make sure you stop by the great and powerful River's Edge. Next up is Glosso Angus. Oh boy, I love Glosso Angus, a proud sponsor of Swim Lessons. Glosso Angus is your premier source for registered Black Angus cattle since 1973. Glosso Angus cattle showcase dominance, durability, and docility, and they're built to thrive on the northern plains. Check them out at Glosso, Glasoe, Angus.com. And hey, BSN Sports has been around since 1972. And you know what they've done since 1972? They've helped area sports teams look their best as they strive for their goals and dreams. Let's go. They provide apparel, uniforms, and equipment for teams in nearly every sport. Local service with a national reach, that is BSN Sports. Contact your local BSN Sports representative for more information. BSN Sports is a proud sponsor of Swim Lessons, the podcast. Next up is Fancy Panda Design. It's an independently owned design studio that specializes in branding, logo design, and marketing. They focus on adding value into your business to be successful as possible. Deliberately distinctive design. Get fancy with Fancy Panda. Appreciate Blake Call and Fancy Panda. And hey, I've been going to work with these guys this winter as well. It's going to be a lot of fun, but that's Game Day Media, more than a game. Your leader in live video sports coverage in Northwest North Dakota. At Game Day Media, our goal is to expose, support, and promote the best athletes that North Dakota has to offer. Subscribe to our channel at Game Day Media ND on YouTube. Find us on Facebook at Game Day Media for schedules, quick links to games, stats, everything you need to make sure you follow that favorite student athlete. And hey, you can also see upcoming events they have. Wherever, however, they're going to be everywhere. It's going to be a lot of fun. They're fantastic. They're huge. But how blessed are we in the great state of North Dakota to not only have PSP Network, which is big, and Game Day Media, which is big in the Northwest North Dakota. So appreciate all those sponsors. They make everything go. If you got an idea for a sponsorship, hit me up, dallashanson@gmail.com. But hey, make sure you like and subscribe as well. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the great and powerful YouTube. But without further ado, I give you Hot Sauce, a.k.a. Issac Sondrol. Dude, thanks for letting me come to the shop. This place is sick.
Welcome.
So on my way down here, I want to play a game with you to start us off.
Okay.
Okay, it's called Guess Who I Am. Okay, I live in Minot, North Dakota.
Okay.
I own my own business.
All right.
And I say this during the summer. The playground of power, the people's palace, the ground, it's already shaken.
The legend himself, Nick Holberg. Yeah.
Dude, I love that guy. We were just talking. We're mutual friends.
He's awesome. I got to sit in with him. We got to do a race night at Underwood this year for the Sport Mod Tour, and they were looking for an analyst, right? And I guess I was the best option they had for the night, or the closest option, Dallas. And so I got to go up and sit with them, and it was literally 4 hours of just two buddies just BSing through this racing program. Started at 7. The checkered flag goes at 11:40 or whatever, 11:30. And he looks over at me and he goes, "That is the most fun I have probably ever had on the mic."
Yeah.
And it was just two dudes talking about wings and racing and steaks. And like, by the way, if you want to find a food place locally, Hallberg and I probably have the best top 10 list. I would say that there's not a place that him and I have not tried out. Okay. So we got a review on all of them. Yeah. Hallberg's a good dude. So talented, like unreal talented. I got to listen to his story and got to, learn a little bit more about on your podcast.
Isn't
with
that
him.
crazy?
What a backstory. Like just messing around, 12, 13 years old or whatever, his legs messed up, just messing around and starts going. And the assistant coach to be like, "Damn,
that's
you're
pretty good.
You're pretty good at that." Like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. Maybe I should do this, Yeah, I know Hallberg's a man. Just such a good dude.
I hope like the state, because just so everybody knows, you're the head basketball coach of Velva High School and you race stock cars during the summer. But I just hope there becomes a happy medium with the High School Activity Association and these tournaments, because the prices, you look around the country, Isaac, and people pay you to come to the tournaments. And I'm not saying the High School Activity Association is evil or anything like that. No. All I'm saying is like, dude, we got to figure out a better way.
We do. And he's so good about, pushing the local athletes, about getting their names into the exposure. And I truly don't think Nick's out to make a pretty penny on it. And he's probably losing money most of the time on it because of what he has to pay to the state. And last year there was a lot of, I'll say hoopla, right?
Yeah.
That's maybe the right word, but because he had to charge for district and region tournaments, and just because of the fee that he had to pay to the state. And I was just like, man, you have to do it. And I understand that you're going to get some pushback, but I understand why you're doing it, and I just appreciate what they've gone through to even go through that headache. Like, he doesn't need to go through that headache.
No.
He could do the racing thing. He could do the hockey thing. He doesn't need to go through that. And I think people need to appreciate that. And the state needs to come to, the state understands they have to make money on these deals, right?
Yeah.
There's no way they're not making money on the state tournaments and all this. But the number, and I don't know the exact numbers, but we're looking at $250,000, $500,000 to $750,000 for these bids to get these tournaments. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane, Dallas.
Yeah,
and
it is.
I'm on one of the advisory committees, and it's one of the things that I kind of brought up, like, for our area, it's huge. It
is.
So like last year when my wife's pregnant and it's blizzarding during our region or district tournament, does not make sense I don't want her driving up.
Right.
But for her to have the option at PSP is huge for like my family, or for my grandma that can't go. And how many grandmas across the state, the same situation? If we don't have a PSP, they can't watch their grandkid.
Right.
And I think the state understands that, but you're right. We got to find a happy medium, and we need to do it quick.
Yeah.
Because it is a huge chunk of change.
Well, even like, I work for Game Day Media as well, and they're in the north, like by Crosby, they're from Tauga. Dude, even for them to budget, they get sponsors and they're very grateful, but that's like for regular season.
Right.
And then for postseason, they need to go out and get more sponsors. And then the sponsor's like, well, our city, our team didn't make it. What but you can still get your name out there, blah, blah, blah. But it's hard because those guys have day jobs.
Right.
They're doing this just out of the goodwill. And it's like, oh my God, now we got to pay $3,000 for 3 games.
Right.
It's like, what are we, come on.
Yeah, and Randy, you guys do a good job too.
Yeah, thank you.
Like we did our Powers Lake game at the end of the year last year. And
oh my God, what a game that was, bro!
McPeak flips it up. Not sure it beat the buzzer.
Oh my
Refs
God.
called it. Refs called it. So it goes in. But like it's cool to have that game on that film forever now.
Yeah.
And like some people don't get that. That's kind of my first interaction I got to have with them, and then I got to know him a little bit more at the coaches meeting or whatever. But yeah, it's just we need people. And like we just lost K Hart. K Hart's been doing radio broadcasts of basketball games since I was a little kid. Like I remember being in my driveway, listening to those broadcasts, shooting around, pretending you're at the B because Jonas Nelson's on the radio.
Yep.
And now luckily PSP gets him back, but it's just a little piece. You can't lose these people that have been on the mic for years. Do you
think radio's dying?
I don't know. I don't know if radio's dying. I still listen to AM. I listen to the 710 on the way to work.
Oh, dude, PA
Yeah,
in the morning.
I love
Dubé.
PA. I'm so jealous you got to meet him.
Dude,
it's on my bucket list. I got to meet him.
Let's make it happen, bro.
Yeah, dude, don't joke about
Let's
that.
make it happen.
I actually don't know if my legs would work going in to meet him. I would get so nervous. Like I listen to PA every day. I got on one of their farmer call-ins last year.
No
they
way.
actually replayed my thing, and I won the gift card.
No way.
And I was so jacked.
What did you say?
Hey, Isaac from Turtle Lake, North Dakota, out planting spring wheat right now, and just want to give a shout out to you and Nordo. Man, I love you guys. Thanks for everything you guys do, from the Faith and Goal podcast, this and that.
Oh.
And then at the end, they replay it, and they're like, hey, and they sent me my gift card. I'm like, this is like the best. I called Emily from work. She's like, what's wrong? I never call. Like, I hate if any of my friends that are listening, like, Isaac, don't I hate being on my phone. I'll text for 42 hours, but I hate being on my phone. I call Emily at work. She's like, "What's wrong? What's the matter?" She goes, "Dude, I just got on with PA," and she's like, "Oh my god!" I was like, I was going to drive to Canterbury that weekend. Like I was so jacked. But so for me, radio's not dying, right?
Right.
But the live stream, the Pat Max, this YouTube availability, it's so good. The content's so good. You know, like when we made the region title game in 22, PSP's there, right? And so with the region opener, we win. The region semifinal, we win. And then to go to that championship game, for me, we can go back and look at those forever. You know, like you have the huddle film, but it isn't the same.
It sucks, yeah.
And so it's so cool to have those guys around. So I hope the radio's not dying because I'm old school. I like listening to baseball on the radio.
Too. Me too.
Like when you're picking rocks, like it's cool to have the Twins game on, you know?
Picking rocks, dude. You nailed it there, dude. Picking rocks.
Yeah, like, yeah.
What one thing like we were talking about before we hopped on here, and I really want to bring this to the point, but okay, you've got a good team with the Velva Aggies. You're the head coach, basketball coach. You've got a great team.
Yep.
But then you look at the other teams in your region. You've got the returning state champions led by Walker Broughton, West Hope, Newburgh, Glenburn, Sioux.
Yep.
You've got the kid just signed with Minot State. What's his name?
Ramsey Walls.
Who is phenomenal, bro.
With
Bishop Ryan.
With Jet Lundeen at the point, or at the 2 guard, he plays some point, but Jet Lundeen is one of the best athletes we've seen around here in a decade. You know, so they get 4th at state. And then our Redeemers coming back, they get 6th at state. Oh. They're led by Brock Teets, who's one of the best coaches in the history of Class B basketball now. You know, and so we actually had our team meeting yesterday, Dallas, and this is kind of what we approached it as. We know who West Hope is. Mm-hmm. We know who Bishop is. We know who our Redeemers is. We know that Mo Hall, Harvey, these guys are going to be, you know, talented. They're going to be good. They're going to be gunning. We're going to worry about what we can control every day. We're going to control what we can control. We're not talking about it in the rest of the season. We're not discussing it. You know, we're going to control what we can control. And like even the scouting reports and things that I'm going to change, we're controlling what we can control in the building. We're actually changing a lot of our offensive concepts from what I've done in the past. We know we have the football athletes, right? Mm-hmm. These guys can hoop too. Yeah. You know, they're pretty good basketball players. And so a lot of the concepts I've used in the past, we're changing a lot of that, a lot more zoom action stuff. And it's going to be a lot of athletes to the rim, right? So I told them yesterday, we're going to control what we can control. And that's right in this room. And we're going to do it every day. And however the chips fall in March, whatever, so be it. But I'm not going to sit here and worry about Walker Broughton. He's too damn good. Dallas, he's too good. I lose too much sleep about it already. What Coach Lee's got going up there, you lose too much sleep. I said, I can't do it anymore. Coach Bosch is smarter than me. Coach Teets is smarter than me. I know that. I can't lose sleep over it anymore. Let's control what we can control in this room, you know? So yeah, it's exciting, man. They're a good group.
Well, one of your studs now that's going into his senior year, I got to watch him play JV for Stanley. Yeah. And I'm watching this JV game, and I was the head coach at Divide County at the time. And this little kid is just balling out. Yeah. And he's going against some of our junior sophomores, little freshman out there, little kid. And then I hear he comes to Velva, moves. And I'm like, oh man, he's going to be playing for my guy Isaac. And then you were just telling me how he can dunk now. He can pin balls in the backboard. He's a great player.
He put a lot of work into his game and into his physical. I mean, he put on some weight.
What's his name again?
Mason McPeak.
Mason McPeak, yeah.
And so actually his stepdad had called me April. Actually, we just finished shop. I was just moving in, and Bob, his stepdad called, and he said, he kind of dropped this idea on me. And I said, absolutely. Like, he's going to find a place. We're going to need him, you know, this and that, and looking down the road and coming in as a junior. And he comes in, and the kid can play. We had played him in the JV tournament at our Redeemers. Oh. And one of our kids, one of their kids, they both went for 25. It was back and forth, double overtime JV tournament game. Okay,
I love
on a
it.
Saturday. Yeah. Like, does not get better than that, right?
Yeah.
He played awesome. So I was like, yeah, I'm aware of who he is, you know. And he comes in, he puts in work, and he's starting to mesh now with Reggie and Ben and the rest of the seniors and juniors. And he's found kind of a niche of personality. You know, that kid's got to mesh a little bit, and he's found that. And this summer, the work that he's put in and what I've seen in the gym so far through open gyms, Mason has a chance to be an all-stater. And I don't say that lightly, because there's a lot of studs in our state. He's special. He is a special player. And like you said, he can get up at 5'10". He can run it. He led our team in assists. He could lead us in three-point shooting. And like, our press break might get pretty simple. Is just be like, I just give him the ball.
Yeah,
you know,
that's nice with about good one guard.
Yeah,
too,
let's just get out of the way.
Yeah,
you know.
Get out of the way.
But that's part of me spreading my offense out now. Is just let him roam. Yeah, because like you said, he led us in assists. Maybe he can lead us in scoring too. Like, he has that capability. So that's exciting. It's exciting to have him surrounded with Shep and Bruner and, you know, Kittleson and Stefan and these guys. Like, there's dudes. So as long as he can run it, and I think he can, it's going to be a really good season for him. So
So how tall is he?
5'10".
He's 5'10".
5'11".
So
He's probably going to get mad at me if but he was in the weight room all summer, you know, and for him to put on 10, 15 pounds to that frame is a big deal. And he did. And he, did some Vertimax, some box jump stuff, and he can get up now. He can, we were at the Wilson State team camp and he hammered one home and just kind of did how did you do that? And then he pinned one on the backboard. I was like, dude, no, so yeah, the kid can play. And I need him to, because there's like 15 dudes in our district. So he's got to be able to go, we've always joked with Reggie and these guys that if you go, we go. Well, McPeak's kind of that guy now. If you go, we're going to go far, So yeah, he's a stud.
But the one thing about Class B that's fun is if you get a kid like that and he gets hot one night, like say regional semifinals in Newtown. Yeah. Game on, bro. You can make it as far as you want. That's all it takes. One kid to get hot.
I can't remember the exact. I think that opening night in districts against Harvey, I think he had 26 or 28. And he just kind of got going early. He had some leg cramps late in the game, and he kind of just came back and battled back in. We were up 17. They got it to like 12, 13, 11. I kind of looked over and he's like, yeah, I got to go. I'm back, It's one of those things that, he went off really well that night. He played really well against Towner. We lose in overtime, but he played well. But yeah, I think he had Mulhall. He had a 34-point night early in the year. It's hard to stay in front of him. He's hard to guard. If you're not, Lundeen, Braden Bailey, these guys, Walker, it's hard to stay in front of them. Yeah. So.
Well, that's one of my favorite things about the region you're in is because obviously you've got the Sioux and Bishop Bryan, but everybody's kind of forgetting about you, buddy. There's a lot of bulletin board material.
Isn't that okay?
Yeah, that's really okay.
I kind of like that, and we get a lot of, there's a football town.
Right.
We're not.
Right.
I think, who gets most offended by that? The senior athlete of the year, Ben Shep.
Yeah.
When Ben Shep was a freshman, we played in the region title game that year, and we're getting into regionals, and we just got out of the district tournament. We're going in as a 2 seed into regionals, and he kind of looked at me at the end of practice and said, guys, we won 15, 16 games. That's pretty good for a football town. And I always joke about that. He goes, Coach, we ain't a football town. I said, what do you mean? He said, we're a championship town.
Ooh.
He said, we want to play for championships.
Yeah.
And now look at that class. They've got 2 state titles. They've played in a region title game for basketball. They played in 2 district basketball titles, like baseball the same way. So when Ben Shep says, no, we're a championship town. And so for me as a coach, I like being that underdog because we need to get there. It's never been done in Velva, Dallas.
Really?
Never been to a state tournament.
No kidding.
And we discussed this a little bit yesterday. Man, if you guys get this done, you'll never be forgotten.
Right.
You've got the state football titles. You've got the senior athlete. You're going to play college. You're like, we got these dudes, right? You guys get this done. If we accomplish it, you're never going to be forgotten. And Ben Shep and these guys, the Bruner, McPeak, they want that.
Yeah.
Braden Bosworth, these seniors, they want that. They want that title. We broke the mold, man. Yeah. When we walked out of me, Ben, and Reggie walked out of Minus State Dome together that night. And
you went to the state championship game?
No, when they lost their freshman year.
Oh, okay.
We lose to Bishop Bryan. Good game. Just did not have enough for them. They're talented. Coach well. Bosch is good. We walked out of that Minus State Dome that night. They're freshmen. Right? It's like, you have to promise me guys we get back. And they just looked at me as like, you got to promise we get back. Because I'm driving a lot. I'm going back and forth. I'm like, I ain't leaving. Yeah. I ain't leaving you guys. Yeah. Yeah. And they just go, we're gonna get you. He said, and we're gonna make history. We're gonna do something that's never done. And so that football town thing, I hear that a lot, and we kind of like it. It spurs us a little bit in the gym. If you come into my gym on January 12th and it's 45 below out and they're on their third deep 6, they ain't going to tell you it's a football school. They're working pretty damn hard for a basketball town. And we kind of joked about this last night over text. And what? My 2 biggest supporters of Velvet since I've been there, Larry Sandy and Matt Weidler. And who are they?
Football.
And Larry Sandy, what? Maybe the GOAT, right?
What's Larry Sandy like?
I don't know if he's going to watch this. Larry Sandy is one of the best human beings I've ever been around.
No kidding.
I told you I was going to cry.
Yeah,
I told you I was going to get
emotional.
Buddy. He's got, when I was assistant, when I first got there, I was assistant for a couple of years before I was a head coach. And I didn't get a lot of rapport. And when I would come to him and ask things, he always had a really good answer. And then when I took over as head coach, we kind of meshed. We meshed a little bit better. And then I understood that he wants me here. Mm-hmm. He wants me to succeed. Ask him everything. He's got, at that time he had 9 rings. He gets his 10th later on. Ask him everything, right?
Yeah.
This dude is the GOAT, and so I would just pick his brain and he never got sick of me asking questions. And all of a sudden now it's not just, boss coach. We're buddies. We're doing this over burgers. We're doing this at his lake house. He's a great human. And there's a reason he's got 10 rings, because the people that he coached saw that, you know. Matt Weidler is the same way. What a perfect dude to take over for him, right? Matt Weidler is he's a great human. Same thing. He's my assistant the year that we go to the region title game.
That's crazy.
You know? I lose my assistant opening day of practice. He couldn't make it work anymore. They had some things come up. So Matt calls me the next morning, you know, and he said, I'll step in. I'm like,
no
are you
way,
sure?
dude.
I mean, he's got little kids at home. Thankfully, his wife, Amanda, who loves sports as much as the rest of us, like he's kind of like, yeah, you know, I'll do it, you know?
Wow.
And then we go make that region title run. And now Matt had coached basketball years ago. He played basketball at Velva, and he has that same, the back of his head, like, hey, we're not just a football town, man. We can get this thing done, you know? And I always kind of feel bad. I don't think we've ever talked about that with him, that I feel like I let him down a little bit that day because, man, Weidler's an Aggie for life, right? You know, like, and if we would have got to state, that would have been like, man, holy cow, Weidler can do everything. You know?
Yeah.
You know, so I always kind of feel bad about letting him down. But Larry Sandy is, it just, every award that he has won is well deserved. And you can say there's coaches and probably some guys you've interviewed that have, you know, 5, 6, 7 state titles or whatever. But their communication, who they are, might not be perfect.
Right.
Larry, man, he's just, it's unbelievable.
What's something you picked up that you make applicable towards basketball that you can share with us?
When in doubt, punt. That was one of his sayings to me. When in doubt, punt. Yeah. You know, he said there's just going to be times in games or planning practice or a snowstorm rolls in, punt. It'll be like you go to the next play. You know, it's okay to punt once in a while.
That's
and
good.
I was like, yeah, I'll never forget that when he texted that to me one day. He's like, I was asking him some stuff, and then there's a blizzard rolling in about, man, I should have practice tomorrow. He said, when in doubt, punt. I said, well, it worked pretty good. You know, he worked pretty good for you. And I said, so that was one thing. And the other thing is he just instills confidence in people. Well, my first ever game, we played at DLB as head coach, and it was actually against Coach Eastas, who had just left Velva. So Tyler and I go to college together. That's how I end up in Velva. And then Tyler takes the job at DLB. And then he's the head coach there. So now I'm the head coach in Velva. My first ever head coaching game, we're playing each other in Burlington.
How did that go?
We won 64-62.
Oh my gosh.
Just an insane game back and forth. Like they were really good. We were really talented. My senior group was really talented. And I got a text from Coach Sandy after I left. He's like, I never doubted for a second you're the right guy for this job.
Really?
And I saved that. Like
Dude,
I've saved that so
put that
many
up
times
on the wall.
Yeah. And I just like, so like for the last 7 years, when there's these moments that aren't going well, it's like, dude, if Larry Sandy believes you can do this, you can bleep and do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if Sandy says it, you can do it. Yeah. What a perfect position to get in. And I think you see this in coaching a lot right now, Dallas, is that the admins or the ADs don't back their guys. And he had my back in every scenario. And that's so huge. And that's just so huge, you know. And so, but yeah, when in doubt, punt.
I like that.
That's for everything. Like I've thought about that at the farm a couple of times. Like, this is broken. This is a frustrating project. I'm punting on this deal today. Like, when in doubt, man. So that was pretty cool. That was always,
Well, that's like the big part about coaching, right? Is you want your kids to take your philosophies and make it towards their life. So I mean, even he wasn't your coach, but he was your friend, and he made some. That's remarkable.
Yeah, and he just got so much drive, and I think that's why we mesh so well. Is I'm so driven on everything I do, whether it's coaching, racing. I don't like to half-ass things. I like everything you do wholeheartedly, right? And that's probably why we've had the success we've had in Velva, and it's not where we want to be yet, but we've had some really 7 winning seasons in a row, right? Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nothing to sleep at there, but my kids get that from me. Like, Coach Sondrol is probably, if you ask them, I'm a little much sometimes, probably a little over the top. You watch me pacing on the sidelines, like, my God, Sondrol, just sit down.
Wearing the New Balances. I love it. I see the pictures.
Calm down, right? Just can sit down and have a drink of water.
Yeah.
But they see that my passion for this deal, and that's why it's been so easy to be in Velva. Mr. Sandy had passion, Mr. Weidler had passion. It's the kids have that passion. It's easy to coach them. They'll come to open gym. They go to weights at 6:30. They come to open gym at 7:30. The passion's easy.
Yeah.
So they see that it just rolls, man. And I think that's lacking. And I can't speak for all coaches. You can sit at a game. You're doing game day. If you hop on with PSP, whatever. You're not going to critique these coaches, but you can tell sometimes that I don't think these kids are bought in.
Dude, it's so funny you say that because I'm not going to say what game I was at, but it was a AA game.
Okay.
And back and forth, and this coach is riding one of our buddies. Do you know Luke Hennessy?
Oh yeah.
I love Luke.
Yeah.
But he's riding Luke, and it's Luke's first AA game.
Yeah.
So you can tell there's little motive behind it. But riding his ass to the point where I was sitting there with Krista, my girlfriend. I'm like, I think he's losing focus on the game.
Yeah.
And he's just focused on the ref. And then eventually in the second half, you could see his kids went from a 4-point game that they were losing to now they're down by 12.
Yeah.
And now it's just all the focus is on the ref. And the officiating wasn't that bad.
Right.
And it's just like, what is going, like, and I could see it.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And this guy is a great coach. I'm not taking anything away from him. But that night, he lost the focus and it went to the refs. And then the players lost their focus and they didn't blame the refs. The players didn't, but they lost focus on the game.
Yeah. And it's just such a big part. I think I've been very blessed since I've been there that, my kids would basically run through a wall if I asked. And, I don't know why. And I appreciate that. I cry every year at the senior banquet, right? Because
that's awesome though, bro. That's emotion.
Because why?
Yeah.
Like, why do these kids come in and run sprints for 3 months, or why do they work so damn hard for me? It doesn't make sense to me sometimes. And I think maybe it's just because you get addicted as a coach to instilling like this passion with kids, right? Mm-hmm. And like, so that's part of the addiction of coaching, right? And so like, if you're not addicted to that, if you don't want to make these kids better and prepare them for life, or you don't want to have this passion with them, don't do it. And so that's like, I don't get frustrated with coaches that are not good at X and O's. I don't get frustrated with coaches if they don't know which defense to go to. Like, I get frustrated with coaches that don't really show they care, And maybe they do behind closed doors, and some coaches are like that, But that passion thing to me is a big deal. And like, the kids I've had up there have related to it, But
kids aren't dumb, dude. They can sense that.
Like to a T.
You can't fake. No,
not
dude.
with kids, man.
It's not authentic. They see it.
And I'm so upfront and honest with them sometimes. I'm like, dude, like I tell them all the time, I'm gonna mess up. Like, I'm not a perfect coach. I'm far from it, And so that focus thing is a big deal with that, some of that stuff. And just like, hey, man, that first half was on me, or that going to that full court run and jump, that was on me, And they loved, like that honesty, that what you build with those kids, that relationship, it's addictive. Like it's fun. It's I got kids I get letters from that are in college now playing or whatever. And just, I got kids that are from my Mayport era that are getting married and stuff. You get messages and it's like, I didn't realize it had that impact.
Yeah.
That's kind of the addictive part. Winning, hey, winning is fun. Mm-hmm. Like I was able to win a lot growing up. We got to play in state titles growing up. Like the group I grew up with, we hated losing more than we liked winning, so instill that in your kids. And like, that's what I've been able to do in Velva with these kids. Like, they're easy to connect to,
But isn't it fun too? Because I just met your dad when he came to the shop. And it's got to be a good feeling. Like when I was coaching, like my mom and dad, when I was in high school, I'm sure your parents were the same. Like they were all bought in. Like we're going to every game, away game, home game. But now they get to recover that love. And they get to follow you. Like that was a big part for me. I don't know about you.
Man, I was so blessed, and I still am. Like I bet there's, in 34 years, my mom's missed like 3 or 4 of my events ever.
That's awesome.
And my dad, he's a little more gruff. Yeah. The version you got to see there, that's taken a long time to develop, Dallas. He wasn't always like that. Okay?
My dad's the same way as
my dad. It was hard on me, and I'm so glad looking back now. Like I text him sometimes, like, man, I'm just so glad you didn't raise a soft ass, because I'm just so thankful. Like at 18, I didn't understand Dallas, but like at 34, you're like, that's why dad was like that. It makes sense now. And he was always super supportive in the fact that like he wasn't a rah guy. He wasn't gonna hug you after a game, or
that's how my dad was.
He was like, you ain't quitting,
right?
What do you mean? Get to work, and like, no, you're gonna have a job. You're gonna go to weights. Like he just instilled that in us. Like,
I think that's the farmer.
It is, I
think that's the farmer.
And so like I work for my uncle, and they're brothers, right? And my dad went over to the Falkirk mine, and he's been with North American Coal for just shy of 40 years right now. So he's worked shift work for 40 years. The last 7 or 8, he's got to move up. He's high up now, and so he gets to go to day shift, right? But I never understood as a kid, like, well, dad wasn't around much, but you get it now. Like shift work's like miserable.
Yeah.
And he did it for a reason, the farm's the same way. Like, and that's how he grew up. Like you just went to work, and when he was growing up on the farm in the 70s and 80s, it isn't like today.
No,
there wasn't a bunch of subsidy checks. Like farming and ranching was miserably hard. And that's what they grew up in. So sometimes when they're like, why the hell is he so hard? I mean, when I was running my own lawn mowing business and he'd come and wake me up and grab me out of bed, it's like, Dad, I got all day to do this. No, you don't. Get to work, You
can come and help me when you're done.
And now I'm like, I get it. Yeah, now I get it. Yeah. So my parents were awesome, man. They're so supportive. And my siblings, my sisters, they've been along the whole ride too. Like they're both married now. So I kind of lost a little bit of their help. But like when we were racing, especially in the Sport Mod era, and we won the NODAC championship and stuff a couple of years ago, they were kind of the backbone, man. They worked on the car more than I did.
Really?
And they're, sisters, teenage and college age girls, they're not going out. They're not going partying, they're not going shopping, they're in the shop working on the race car. Like how blessed does a guy get to be to do that? And then you look up in the crowd, you look up in the crowd like after you win district semifinals and go to the championship, and there they are. Like, how cool, how cool. Dang it. I told you
no,
this
you're
was
good,
gonna happen.
bro. You're good. No, I'm the same way, dude. I was so jealous of you this past summer. I had to go help my parents race horses, not cars.
Yep.
So we got that going for us too. But anyways, I had to go help, and I had seen that Sawyer Brown was going to do the matinee at the state fair.
Oh, it's so
and
good.
I knew you were a big
They're
Sawyer
so
Brown guy. And I'm like, no, I want to be there because I know Isaac will be there, and a bunch of my buddies were going, and it was like, what was it, a Wednesday?
Yeah, so the fair dropped the ball on this deal, right?
Dude.
Little Wayne plane doesn't make it.
Bro.
And so they moved Sawyer Brown from Wednesday night to Wednesday afternoon, and they put Little Wayne on Wednesday night. So like,
and I went to Lil Wayne, and that's the first concert I ever left early.
Yeah.
It sucked.
Like, put Little Wayne at 2:00 and put Sawyer Brown. Like, they're living legends.
Dude,
like, let's
the
go
goats.
to them.
And wasn't it their like
This 40th tour,
40th tour.
and I've probably seen him a dozen times.
Yeah.
Long story long. Okay. I have a long story. I got kicked out of a winter show one time in Valley City. So I've had to see him a couple times because I got kicked out of that show.
Why did you get kicked out?
That was my buddy's fault. That was not my fault.
Okay.
But I mean, I should have been paying close attention. When you're in college at the winter show, things happen. It escalated quickly. Okay,
Yep.
We weren't thrown out. We were asked to leave. Okay, and so I've seen him a dozen times. I only got thrown out once. But Mark Miller, the lead singer for Sawyer Brown, he's like I got his book. I should just leave it with you. But he's produced.
He wrote a book.
It's awesome. He's produced for all these different country artists and Christian artists, and his story is unbelievable. And so when you're getting kicked out of concerts at 22, you don't think about that.
Yeah.
When you get older and dive into who these people are in the bands, you're like, these people are awesome.
Yeah.
And so to stand there front row at 2:00 on a 95-degree day, and there's a couple thousand people there, but I got to go with some buddies, and you got to go front stage. Well, then they had this deal. If you bought a book, you got to meet him backstage. And I'm like, I got to meet Mark Miller from Sawyer Brown.
Way.
Got a picture with him.
What do you
Now, my
say?
pregnant wife was very upset. Okay. So she's like 7-8 months pregnant at this time. She's not going to stand on the cement at 95 degrees.
Yeah.
And then I send her this picture with Mark Miller, and she is not very happy with me. But yeah, so I got to meet Mark Miller at Sawyer Brown.
What was he like?
Awesome. Just like the most genuine person ever. Like, and his story, he's got a big religious background or whatever.
Oh, does he? I
And
didn't know that.
and so just, stood there and talked a couple minutes and just kind of, shared some stuff. And he's just like, I was like, I've seen you probably a dozen times. He's like, they kind of, and his manager said that, he's like, they love coming up here because it feels the same way it did in 1985, 1995.
Yeah.
Like, they love it.
Yeah.
They love coming up here because it's a genuine response they're getting from the crowd. And he said a lot of our crowds are like that. There's not a lot of people that aren't Sawyer Brown fans going to Sawyer Brown concerts anymore.
Right.
But he's like, there's 3,500, 4,000 people there on a midday and a Wednesday. And I was like, I think they should keep doing this because riff raff, the right word. Like, there was no fighting going on at that concert.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody throwing beers at the stage, none of that crap happening. I was like, I think they should keep. I mean, I'm getting old enough now, Dallas. Like, that's
Let's
kind of
do that
enjoyable.
matinee,
Let's do that matinee concert.
Like, I
But
want to
so
go to
cool.
Gladiator 2 is coming out today, and I'm like, I kind of want to go to a matinee.
But like the 1:00.
Yeah, not the 8:45.
No,
dude,
there's
we're
like 4
pushing
people in there.
boundaries.
Yeah, that's the way. Yeah. So that was what a good time.
Well, the thing I like too is I saw online Sawyer Brown was like, we're gonna open this up to if you're in the military service,
and
you can
emergency
come for free.
responders.
Yeah,
so
that is amazing.
I got in, just 'cause we're volunteer firefighters, we got in for free or whatever. And I had tickets anyways, so it was cool. But yeah, pretty cool then to be like, hey, you know what? It's kind of like all get screwed up. Let's give back to these guys. And they just ate the cost of that between the fair and them,
Wow.
So like, that's a pretty dang cool deal too,
Well,
So
before we get too sidetracked, I really want to talk about the racing world that you're involved in because
you got to come a couple times. This year.
I
you got to go to the booth. You don't usually just to get to show up and go straight to the booth.
know,
You got to have connections.
I know.
Yeah.
Holberg texted me. He's like, come up to the booth, man. And they were in Minot on a Sunday night. And it was really cool and unique because this is my first time coming to a stock car racing event.
Yep.
I pull up into the where we usually go to concerts in Minot, and I hear over the loudspeakers, Holberg, welcome to the, hey boy, nice shirt there, hey, ground shaking. And I hear him over the loudspeaker immediately. I'm a energy guy. So if the energy's good, I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
And I can tell if it's bad, but it was very good.
Yeah.
I walk in right away. I see a shirt that says the ground is already shaking. Scoop that really quick. Walk up and Holberg has like computers in front of him. He's got 2 guys working for him. This gal that's timing the laps. And he's like, who do you know? And I'm like, oh, I know Isaac. He's like, hot sauce. All right. Hot sauce. Hell yeah. He's right there. And I'm watching you and all of a sudden you're doing well. And then and then you kind of just fade off and like, what happened? I hear Holberg, Isaac is, or he said something like you broke something your shaft or
caught
the girder on the.
Yeah, I bent an axle tube on the. Actually, it's sitting over there still, if you want to know. But I bent an axle tube and that got cut. You know that it was the night before the tour. A lot of guys from out of state up there. It was a big show, you know, and this guys that were probably driving over their heads a little bit, and I got kind of caught up where I shouldn't have been. And so we had to come home, take that rear end out, put a new axle tube in, and get ready for the tour the rest of the week. You know, the race Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's like, holy cow, that was dumb. I should have just stayed home and that, whatever. But yeah, we battled back, had a good tour after that. But that's kind of how racing is. It's a lot of ups and downs, kind of like coaching. You know, they're both the same, where you got to learn to fail and how to handle failure and then get to that winning side of things, you know, like, and so,
you showed me those pictures of when you wrecked
that hurt.
Though.
Yeah,
dude, that looked crazy.
That was the worst wreck I've been in 12
What
years.
happened?
The guy that was leading the B main. So on the tour, there's like in Dickinson, there's like 66 cars there, right? And they're going to start 24 in the feature. So they qualify a couple out of the heat race and they qualify out of a B main or last chance qualifier, they call them. And so you get like the top 2 or 3 or 4 going out of that deal. And so I started 8th and you got to get to 4th, right? So there's not a lot of give and take, and it's hard to see down there, the dusty, no fault to the track, just the way the sun sets in Dickinson, you know, we're kind of in the Badlands over there. And the leader bobbled and collected another guy, and that collected, it actually ends up being my brother-in-law. and I never saw him. I never saw him for 1 second, Dallas. And I've avoided a lot of wrecks in my life because I pride myself with looking past the air cleaner to avoid wrecks. Yeah. For a lot of my career, I haven't had the finances to wreck my stuff. I've had older stuff or whatever. I have to keep my stuff highly maintained and in one piece. And so in the tour, you throw that out a little bit because you want to make the shows, man. The tour features are like making a state tournament. That's what it feels like, okay? And so you kind of throw caution to the wind a little bit. And I couldn't see very good when I went up to the top 1 and 2, and you could kind of, man, you shouldn't be there. That thought's in your head, you know? And Mark Dahl gets sideways into Marcus, and Marcus is sideways in front of me. I never saw him for a second. I hit him wide open. And I've never hit...
How fast were you going?
Man, mid-70s, probably in the corner like that. And you just stop on a dime. And, I get in there and I couldn't, I've had some shoulder issues. I've had both of them worked on, from past injuries, whatever. And I was like, that's, the wind's knocked out of you at first, right? Okay. Second note, in race cars, you wear a 5-point harness. Yeah. Okay. 2 here, 2 across your waist, 1 up the groin area, right? Yeah. So the wind gets taken out of you. Okay. Dude. So everything's just like, I just need a second to gather my shit here, please. And then I'm like, my shoulder's definitely out, And I'm like, I've done this enough. I was like, can I pull it? And I was like, they took we got quick rescue roofs now. Mm-hmm. And so like the center of my roof comes out. And so they can take that roof out. They can come in and kind of check on me. Right. And I'm like, I just need a second. I got to this isn't bad. It's just barely out. I can get it back in and then I can crawl out of here, They're like, well, what hurts? My shoulder's messed up, and then my nuts are not in very good shape. But we don't need you to check on those.
Already pregnant, though.
Yeah, I got 1 at home. We're good, but no. So I was like, don't. But I hit him so hard. Yeah, I junked the car. And actually, the guy that built it, Justin O'Brien, he's racing on the tour with us, and he comes over and he checked out. He came to the ambulance after I got out, and he goes, I was like, call Justin. I said, I'll send the car down. Marcus is actually going to pick up a different car. I said, I'll send it down with you. He goes, I can't fix it. I said, really? I said, because I knew I hit him hard, but I hadn't looked over I've never junked a car before, like junk. That's hard to do, Dallas. Yeah. And so I looked at it. I'm like, all right, yeah, I guess, it's junk, man. This is a huge investment down. So you kind of get kicked in the nuts again then. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the racing thing, boy, I got my first feature win in the modified class like 3 weeks before that. And this modified class is so hard. It's like, it is the dudes in this class, the Travis Hagens from out there. I don't know, you ever met Trav? Mike, yeah. From Fortuna up there, Travis from, yeah. So, Travis.
Mike Hagen.
Dude, yeah. And so Trav's unreal. Like,
is he pretty good?
Really good. Like one of the best in the country. And so you race against these guys weekly, right? It's hard to get wins. And I finally got one a couple weeks before. We had rolling pretty good on the tour. And then that happened. It's like, man, I had a lot invested in this car. It's only a year old, and it's kind of, that was so my shoulder hurt, my pride hurt, my checkbook hurt. Yeah. And that's just kind of everything I do. You just pick yourself back up. There's bad days at the farm, bad days racing, bad days coaching. It's like, all right, on to the next thing. That passion that drives me crazy. It's, you're addicted to that adrenaline rush, and you're just like, on to the next thing. Yeah. So I actually got to race a buddy's car a couple of times in August. That was really cool of him to let me drive it. Laudenschlager let me drive his car, and that was really fun. But now I'm sitting here in an empty shop, and it still bugs me. Dude, it's weird.
That's It is. It's got to be weird. But like, okay, so now when you move into next summer,
Yep.
you're gonna obviously get.
I got a car coming.
You got a car coming.
Yep, it'll be ready around Christmas. So
And you do all your modifications, get ready for the summer.
yeah, so these modified deals, Dallas, they kind of the way that these guys build them now, they're engineered so well that like when it gets here, I just got to bolt motor, tranny, rear end, and stuff in, and kind of the bolt on parts will go on, but they're just so well made now that, and the competitions, you need the technology from these guys. So it gets here, the body will be ready. It'll be ready to bolt together. You could probably have it done in a week now.
Yeah.
You know, back in the days, like when my grandpa started racing in the, the 60s, 70s, 80s, you built everything. You know, my step grandpa behind me, he ran an engine shop in Harvey for years before he passed. And so my grandpa and step grandpa, they're both in the Hall of Fame up there, but they were really good at engineering things. They're both in the Hall of Fame at Nodak. So that's pretty cool, and so to follow that footsteps is pressure too there. But so they were big on engineering. My grandpa Harry was really good at it. Like he liked tinkering and fabricating. Like nowadays we just go to a magazine and, I need that, I order it. Back then they built everything. They built the cars. They built, like, you junked a car like I did, they just started building a new one. You didn't go to Iowa to get a car
right?
Like we do now. And so that's just kind of the change of pace. But yeah, we got a new one coming, rolling in next year. We'll have everything ready for the car show in March and April there, and hit the ground running again and try not to wad it up.
Do you ever go up to Estevan?
Yeah, I made my first trip I actually used to go up with my uncle quite a bit when the border was a little bit easier to get through.
Well, they just extended the hours.
Yeah.
So the hours I think are till 7 or 9 o'clock.
So we actually we go through Portal there, and it's pretty easy because it's right across to Estevan. So I went up the first time I ever raced there this year, and then went up for the tour. Had good runs, both nice, just like the best people up there.
Yeah.
They're just so nice and appreciative, but nice facility.
Yeah.
Estevan, the town's pretty nice. Like, it's cheap to stay up there. The hotels.
Dude, Boston Pizza's up there.
Yeah.
I love BP.
Yeah.
It's the best.
And so it's a nice, it's more relaxed. They're a little bit more laid back, but the Canadian racers are
they
studs.
tough?
Yeah. Like Aaron and Tyson Turnbull and Ed and their dad, Ed, like Ed's legend up there. Like these Canadians are no joke. Like, when you go north of the border, and especially at their home track, Cody.
They're defending.
They're so good. Yeah, like Cody's.
The invaders are here.
Yeah, they know it too.
Oh yeah,
and then it's the same way when they come down to mine, when they come to Nodak or they come to Williston. It's a good, healthy little rivalry.
Yeah.
And then it was cool because when the tour shows up, now our rivalry that's kind of put aside. This dude from California can't take our money home.
Oh, there's a guy.
Dudes
like that.
California, Iowa, Kansas. When that modified tour,
because the money and stuff, right?
And the prestige of it. Yeah. So like the modified tour, like the Super Nationals champions, the national champs come up to run that tour with us from Arizona, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, Minnesota.
Really?
Yeah, they're all over the dang place. Yeah, it's intense.
That's sweet.
And then so like a guy like Trav Hagen, like, and he can beat those guys. He takes a lot of pride in that. Like, you ain't taking everything home.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we're keeping it here.
So yeah, it's just, man, there's so much. Yeah, it's a lot of energy in that deal too.
What's being a dad like?
The best thing ever. Yeah, it is. It's pretty cool. All these, you win. My whole life, you've been trying to win these trophies and stuff. And then you bring that dude home, and it's like, man, this is the best. Yeah, it's the best. Little less sleep than normal. A little more time. Oh, I'm getting more sleep than Emily is though. But she's been a rock star.
Yeah.
And now you're,
Yeah. We got one coming here, December 11th.
It changes everything.
Yeah.
And here's a funny story about this deal. Okay. So Emily goes through labor for 26 hours. All I did for 26 hours is go to the cafeteria and make sure that her cup of water was full. Right. And so 26 hours, she gets done, the baby's delivered. We hadn't found out, right? We didn't know. So we're like 45 seconds after delivery, and we're like, the doc, the nurses, nobody said anything. But he's crying. Like you can hear him crying. I'm like, what is it?
Yeah.
And so I can't do any of that. The blood, I can't do it. So I'm in the corner. My legs don't work. Like I couldn't stand up if you gave me $1 million check across the room, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sitting in the corner. They're like, what is it? They're like, boy. I'm like, sweet, we're done. Okay. But this is 2:36 in the morning. He's born. So it's 3:00 when everything kind of gets wrapped up. My mom goes home. Her mom, her sister, the nurses, the doc all clear out. Emily takes a well-deserved nap. Just kind of passes out, right? They started her IVs and stuff, and she just passed out. So here I am with this kid who's 24 minutes old. And I'm sitting there like, I am not qualified to do this. I am not. I don't babysit like other people's kids. Like I'm not holding like other people's kids. It's not my deal,
Right.
And so I'm like, what in the hell am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
And then he looks at you and you're like, nothing else ever mattered. It is crazy, man. They just look at you and it's just the coolest. And then he kind of wanted, and then dude, I've never picked up a baby this small, And you pick him up and hold him, you're like, holy, this is the best thing ever, man.
Dude, I'm excited, but I'm scared.
I feel like you've played in that region semifinal game. And,
oh yeah.
And we've won trophies and you've been to state tournaments and like, it's just not quite that. That baby, that holding that kid thing is unreal, man.
I can't wait.
It's
I'm
awesome.
stoked because because we had good luck in Divide County. We went back-to-back regional semifinals. The last one was different for me because we were going in as the 4 seeds. We had to play the 1 seed out of the other district, which was Trevor Tomte's going to kill me. They were a Native American team, but anyways, they were very talented. And we were kind of against it, but we had on the bus ride down, I had a rule where when we were 45 minutes away from where we were going, we take away the phones and just get into the game. And I went to the back to go take away the phones, and they were already sitting in the bench seat. I'm like, holy shit, they're ready.
They're ready, yeah.
And so we get in there, I talk to them, and what our deal was, we go out, warm up, then we come back in, and I give a last minute speech. So I had like this feeling in the back of my mind because I knew right then and there was probably a 90% chance I wasn't going to come back.
Right,
because I was really into broadcasting. Like I wanted to do this full time, and like you said, I don't half-ass anything.
Right.
And if I wanted to get into broadcasting, you got to be a broadcaster or a fucking coach. There's no in between.
There's no in between.
So I was like, okay, I'm probably going to become a broadcaster. This might be my last game I ever coach. These kids mean the world to me, like they really do. Now I'm getting emotional. So I go in to talk to him, and I start talking to him. I'm trying to give him the rah-rah. And I start crying. And I'm like, let's just go get this. Go get it. Dude, the game is back and forth. We take the lead, and then we've got the lead going like towards the last 10 seconds. And we had to throw like a Hail Mary-esque pass, and it was going to go out of bounds. They would get the ball under their own hoop. And this kid Peyton Hanna, she was like our 7th, 8th guy. Randy Moss catches it, keeps his feet in bounds, and the clock goes out. And I'm like, oh my God. And then we moved on and we lost, unfortunately. But dude, those type of memories. Are so insane. Right. And there's no way to replicate it no matter how hard you try. There's no way to you can do whatever you want. You cannot replicate those. And to hear the crowd, the kids are laughing.
And the atmosphere.
The bus ride home.
I know.
Like, dude, everything. It's tough.
We actually got to watch that. We had a snow day during our regional tournaments. We got to watch. We got to watch Region 8. We finished on Friday. So I got to watch yours, and kind of in between there. And I think that's we had actually connected a little bit before early in the season over some scouting stuff. And like when you were just getting emotional a little bit, that's why you and I can connect. Because like, not to say it, this is how I am, Dallas. I don't talk to everybody. Right. Like, I got a pretty close circle. But when I saw how you approached your kids on the sideline, I'm like, I could talk to him. That's
awesome.
He's got the, I'll talk to him. He's got the passion to do this, And so, and it's just, there's so many things that happen in the course of that game. And when it comes down to the wire like that, you're just,
Dude,
it's just,
heart.
The ones you lose they're in your mind longer than the ones you win, And so that all those emotions, you're going to feel that on your delivery day too. Times 10.
I'm stoked. I can't wait. Well, believe it or not, bro, we've been at this for a while. I just heard one of my cameras shut off, but swim
hopefully
lessons,
it's mine.
No.
So. Hopefully the camera stayed on you.
Too. No. Isaac Swim Lessons is a podcast about overcoming tough times. Leave us with something. Like Larry Sandy left you with something. So
just punt. No, you only get one chance at this. You only get one chance to do this. There's gonna be bad days, whether it's at work or on the sidelines or playing the game. But you only get to do this thing called life once. You only get to do it once. And I've had to take that in. I need to appreciate the finer moments. I need to. Like the region, you need to live in that moment better. I'm a terrible about enjoying the moment. So if I could leave you with a piece of advice, it'd be, whatever you're going through, you're only going to live this life once. Do it wholeheartedly, and then enjoy that moment. Sometimes as coaches or as people, we're on to the next thing. Like when I won that championship at Nodak, I was like, oh, we got to go win Motor Magic. We got to go win this now. I'm like, dude, you wanted this since you were a little kid. Just enjoy the moment and live in the present once in a while. I'm so bad about that. So live in the present, do everything, you're going to do this once, do it wholeheartedly. So that's it.
I love it, dude. Give us a quick plug for Velva basketball. Where can people follow?
We got our, the Velva Facebook page. We're on PSP, I think 5 or 6 times. I think we get 1 or 2 with game day.
Okay.
I think they may be doing the Kenmare game when we come out there. I hope.
Sweet.
I hope you guys are.
I'll do it.
We are now, February 10th.
Okay.
Follow us on Facebook or on my Twitter. I'm not quite as good as Coach Mike Zier on Twitter, but he's so good. So I'm not as good as some of those guys, but I do have some good stuff there. But no, it's going to be It's gonna be a good season.
I can't wait. Hey, I appreciate you not only as a coach but as a friend. And let's do this again. Maybe season wrap up. See what's going on. Maybe at the B. Let's do one at the B.
Let's do this at the B.
And let's have John Cole sit in the middle.
Oh man, what a legend. Okay, like aside from the state fixing the budgets and what we got to get, John Cole's got to be back at the B.
We need to bring him
for the
back,
love of God, people. What are we doing here? Like we have like so many things in life that are just like perfect. Why are we messing them up?
Why do we mess that
John
up?
Cole's got to have a mic
He's
at the B.
GOAT.
It doesn't even make sense.
Oh.
I don't care if WDY is doing it. I don't care if the Beck's doing it. Like you hire him for the sideline.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if there was a GoFundMe to hire him, they would get it.
Pay it out of pocket. Like just pay it out of pocket. Like it's just so remarkable. Yeah, whatever.
I would watch like the state tournaments and I would look forward to halftime or end of the game. I remember Cody Nelson when Beulah won the state B, and Cody Nelson had a great, he was kind of the sixth man, but got in the starting rotation. John Cole just hugs him and is talking to him like, you just won state.
Yeah.
And Cody just went off.
Sometimes he doesn't ask a question.
No, it's a statement.
It's a statement. Yeah. And it's like, when we played Bishop Bryan opener of state in 08, Evan Nelson has 4 points. So 4 free throws to clinch the game. And Evan was a stud. He's a great point guard for us. And he like, what a game. And just kind of stuck it in, and Evan's like, yeah, and then it was funny because Evan got that interview. And then after we lost state football, it was the same John Cole, we lose to Napoleon and 9-man the year before. And he's like, he kind of sticks in his face and he's like, man, this has got to be a tough loss. And Evan's like, well, yeah, I mean, but it's just, John Cole, you can see the passion he has for high school sports in the area of Williston and across the state.
Yeah.
Why would we not want that on the sidelines? It don't make any damn sense.
Agreed, 1,000%.
Like, come on, people.
We got to get him in there.
If we make the B for the first time in history, I'm paying for John Cole. John Cole's going to be on our bench. If we make the B, John Cole's going to be on our damn bench. Okay, that has to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, that has to happen.
Let's make it happen. I'm pretty sure everybody in North Dakota now is a Velva Aggie fan.
The Aggie's got to go. You hear this? John Cole will be on my bench. I've never talked to him in my life. You have. You can get me in touch with him. He's going to be on the damn sidelines.
He'll probably have that big ass camcorder too. Like
perfect. I want all of it. I want 1990. Yeah, we could go all day about classic basketball, but I remember when I was a kid, you're watching you want to get interviewed by John Cole.
You do.
We want to win the state title, guys, but we want to get interviewed by John Cole.
John's
good, bad, or ugly here, right? You want that interview,
Same shoes that Kleinsaucer was in and all those guys.
Yeah, just think about that. Kleinsaucer, I think this is pretty accurate. He had a quote one time about the 2 biggest games he ever played in his life, and it was the state B title and then Monday Night Football in Lambeau.
No way.
Think about that. Jim Kleinsaucer of all people. And don't quote me for sure, but
I'm pretty
I remember him talking about this.
Because he was playing against Hunter Berg.
And let's think about that game for a while.
Dude.
Hunter Berg, Jim Kleinsaucer, Aaron Wick,
you don't get much bigger than that.
And that's what the B means. And who's on the sideline? John frickin' Cole. What are we doing here?
It's the petting zoo in there for goats.
I'm on the advisory committee. I should just put this as my main. I don't want to change any rules next year. I just want to change this, you guys. I don't care about any of the rule changes. The flopping rule, don't care about it. I want John Cole on the sidelines. That's what I want. That's it. So, get on board. If we make the B, John Cole's coming with the Aggies.
I love it.
He's gonna be our team host or whatever. He can. That's. I'm gonna pay for him to be there. I don't care.
Dude, I love it. Appreciate you so much, and good luck the rest of the way.
It's gonna be a blast.
Thanks, Isaac. That's a wrap, Isaac.